Hello, dear children, and welcome back to the class. Dear students, today we are going to learn about the chapter number 6, that is classification of plants. The objective of the lesson are kingdom Plantae, subkingdom Gymnosperm, and subkingdom Angiosperms. Dear students, we already studied in our previous classes how the living organisms been classified. We know that we studied about the kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, and the five kingdom classification proposed by the Robert Whittaker in the year of 1959. The students, Robert Whittaker, a great scientist, he classified all the living organisms which are present on the earth planet into five kingdoms on the basis of different criteria. First, the scientists classified the living organisms into two divisions, that is prokaryotes and eukaryotes. The concept of prokaryotes and eukaryotes you were already studied in previous classes. Dear students, prokaryotes contain the nucleus without nuclear membrane, and eukaryotes nucleus is present with nuclear membrane. The basic difference among them. All the prokaryotes are categorized in the kingdom Monera, or all eukaryotic cells or all eukaryotic organisms are further classified into two types, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular, all the living organisms, unicellular organisms are placed in kingdom Protista, and multicellular organisms are further classified based on the presence of cell wall or the absence of cell wall. Dear student, all the organisms which does not contain the cell wall are placed in the kingdom Animalia, and the living organisms with cell wall are further divided into two classes, that is Autotrophs and Heterotrophs. Autotrophs organisms are able to synthesize their own food material. So, such living organisms are placed in kingdom Plantae. And the heterotrophs means they cannot prepare their own food material. Such living organisms are placed in kingdom Fungi. In this way, Robert Whittaker classified the living organisms into five kingdoms. I hope so the five kingdom classification system is clear in the mind. Once again, we can enlist the five kingdoms one by one. Dear children, first kingdom Monera, second kingdom Protista, third kingdom Animalia, fourth kingdom Plantae, and fifth kingdom Fungi. We know that what are the hidden secrets of the kingdom Plantae, which impart the green freshness to our surroundings. Dear students, there is a great diversity in the kingdom Plantae. Let us learn more about the kingdom Plantae.
Living organisms: prokaryotic Monera, eukaryotic unicellular Protista, multicellular with cell wall Autotrophs Plantae, Heterotrophs Fungi, without cell wall Animalia. Kingdom Plantae. Can you tell? Which are the special cell organelles that differentiate plant cells from animal cells? The group of autotrophic living organisms having eukaryotic cells with cell walls is the group of plants. Plants have become autotrophic as they can perform photosynthesis with the help of chlorophyll. Living organisms of the kingdom Plantae are the main source of food for all other living organisms.
Dear children, the plants, a large number of species of the plants are present on the earth planet. To classify them, it's a very tedious job. That's why the scientists studied some plants and identified their important characteristics and used these characteristics or the basis to classify. The first one is that the presence or absence of organs is the first criteria to classify the plants. Either the plant organs are present or not. Plant organs means the root, stem, leaves, flowers, fruits. These all are considered to be the plant organs. So dear children, this is the first criteria to classify the plants. Second criteria is the presence or absence of the conducting tissues. Conducting tissues in the 8th class in detail you were studied, that is the xylem and phloem. The conducting tissues, their main function is the conduction of water and minerals in the unidirection and the conduction of the food material in bidirection. The plants are also further classified whether the seeds are enclosed in fruit or not. It is also very important criteria because in some plants the seed is exposed to the environmental factor and in some plants the seed is embedded inside the fruit. So this is also the criteria to classify the plants. Plants are also grouped into different categories based on the presence or the absence of flowers, fruits or roots. If the flowers are absent, then such plants are said to be the non-flowering plants. And if the flower is present or if the plants bear the flowers, then it is categorized into the flowering plants. Dear children, at the higher level, the presence or absence of flowers, fruits, seeds are also considered, and plants are classified into two sub-kingdoms, that is cryptogams or phanerogams. Phanerogams are further classified as gymnosperms and angiosperms. Angiosperms are further classified into monocots or dicots. Monocots and dicots means the presence of cotyledons inside the seed. That is also the criteria to classify the plants.
Basis for classification. The presence or absence of organs is the first criterion for classification of plants. The presence or absence of separate conducting tissues for conduction of water and food is the next consideration for classification. Do the plants bear seeds? If they do, then whether the seeds are enclosed in a fruit or not is also an important criterion for classification. Finally, plants are grouped depending upon the number of cotyledons in the seed. At the higher levels of plant classification, different characteristics are considered for classification. Example, depending upon the absence or presence of flowers, fruits and seeds, plants are classified as cryptogams or phanerogams. Depending upon whether seeds are enclosed within a fruit or not, phanerogams are classified as gymnosperms and angiosperms. Angiosperms are further classified as monocots or dicots depending upon the number of cotyledons in seeds. An introduction to scientists. In 1883, Eichler, a botanist, classified the kingdom Plantae into two subkingdoms. As a result, two subkingdoms, cryptogams and phanerogams, were considered for plant classification. Cryptogams. Observe. Search for a pond with greenish water. Collect some of the green fibers from the water. Put the fibers in a petri dish and wash them clean with water. Put one of the fibers in a drop of water on a glass slide and spread it out straight. Put a cover slip over the slide and observe under a compound microscope. Do you see the spirally arranged green thread-like chloroplast in the cell in that straight fiber? This plant is known as Spirogyra.
Now let's begin with the first subkingdom of kingdom Plantae, that is nothing but the cryptogams. Cryptogam is further classified into three divisions, that is Thylophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. So let's begin with the characteristics of Thylophyta. These students, Thylophyta plants mainly grow in water, which do not have the specific parts like root, stem and leaves, flowers. These all parts of the plant body is absent. Second important thing is that the Thylophyta plants are autotrophic in nature. Autotrophic in nature is only due to the presence of the chlorophyll pigment. It's called the algae. Algae is able to prepare their own food material. Dear friends, algae show a large diversity, a large differences among them. They are unicellular or multicellular also. Unicellular, the complete body is made with the help of single cell. Multicellular, the complete body is made with the help of many cells. The microscopic as well as large. Microscopic means we cannot see with the help of our naked eyes. Large, that we can see. Dear students, sometimes you may observe that a greenish layer on the surface of the water, pond water. Pond water is stored water. So a large number of algae or the species of algae grow in pond water. We are able to observe a greenish layer on the surface of the water. That is nothing but the algae. These students, the example of the Thylophyta plant is nothing but the algae like Spirogyra, Ulva, Sargassum. Dear friends, the algae is found in the fresh water as well as in the saline water. The plants usually have the soft and fiber-like body. Various types of fungi like yeast and molds which do not have chlorophyll are also included in this group. So this is all about the division Thylophyta. I hope so it is clear in your mind.